You are Locked On Patriots, your daily New England Patriots podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello to all of you Foxborough faithful. Thank you once again for making Locked On Patriots a daily part of your New England Patriots coverage and also your first listen every day. Remember, Locked On Patriots is free and available on all platforms, including YouTube. So smash that subscribe button, download, subscribe to, follow Locked On Patriots wherever you get your podcasts. I'm your host, Mike Debate, and I cover your New England Patriots for Patriots Country of Sports Illustrated. Reach out to me. Let me know what's on your mind on Twitter at MDATENFL. And while you're out there showing some love to the Twitterverse, please be sure to follow the Locked On Patriots account as well at LO_Patriots. Pats fans, if you are viewing us on YouTube, you will see that as we continue to upgrade the audio-visual quality here on Locked On Patriots, that combined with feeling a little under the weather doesn't make for great video conditions, but I assure you we will be back and better than ever this week because it will be a big week on Locked On Patriots. It's a big week throughout the NFL. Free agency starts, the league year beginning on Wednesday, March 15th, and Locked On Patriots will have you covered on all the comings and goings in and out of Foxborough. And folks, definitely make sure to stay locked into Locked On Patriots for the very latest on your favorite team in New England. But before we dive into all of the latest free agent news from your New England Patriots, folks, we'd be remiss if we didn't take a little time here on Locked On to honor one of the greats to ever wear the uniform. It is an end of an era, and prior to the start of the 2022 season, New England Patriots safety Devin McCourty was named a team captain for the 12th time in his career. And on Friday at age 35, having just concluded his 13th NFL season, Devin announced his retirement from the NFL via social media, and he announced it under the heading, quote, "It's not about the destination, it's the journey." And I'll quote exactly how Devin announced this. He said, quote, "I'm officially retiring from the NFL. It has been a great ride. I think it's always tough to come to the end. This whole offseason has been so much back and forth for me mentally, but ultimately, I think this is the best decision for me, for my family, and for my career." And Devin said alongside his twin brother Jason when he announced it, did come to this decision having spoken with both team owner Robert Kraft and head coach Bill Belichick. A little more on their thoughts on Devin in just a moment here on Locked On Patriots. But he did say that he also spoke with members of the defensive coaching staff. And, of course, Devin being Devin, got to get a little quip in there. He said, quote, "I got to say to Bill, now I get the chance to reminisce and look back and not have to focus on how can I be better." Devin, really, I mean, I don't think there's anyone in Patriots Nation that thinks you could do any better than what you did. Tremendous, tremendous career without any question. Since being drafted in the first round, number 27 overall in the 2010 NFL draft, he's been a stalwart in the Patriots defense. They converted from cornerback to safety, and that Rutgers upbringing definitely helped him cultivated into one of the most prolific on-field defenders, as well as one of its most well-respected leaders in the locker room. And throughout his career, Devin did it all on the field, combined in to appear in 229 regular season and playoff games as a member of the Patriots, became a three-time Super Bowl champion, as well as being voted to 2 Pro Bowls, 3 All-Pro teams, and the Patriots team of the 2010s. He finishes his illustrious career having compiled 971 total tackles, 110 passes defended, 35 interceptions, 2 of which took back for touchdowns, 11 forced fumbles, and 7 fumble recoveries. That's all in the regular season. And he was equally as effective in the postseason, logged 119 total tackles there, 4 pass breakups, and 2 interceptions. Tremendous career for Devin McCourty without any question. And some have speculated that a similar future in broadcasting may be waiting for Devin on the other side of his playing days. And this is not all that far-fetched, folks. During the Patriots Week 10 bye back in November, Devin joined the CBS broadcast, and he also joined them once again in the playoffs. And his valuable insight and analysis was really something that I think captured the eyes and captured the hearts of a lot of NFL fans throughout the country that maybe weren't big Patriots fans or maybe didn't know all that much about Devin McCourty. But his charisma, that makes him an attractive candidate, I think, to fill an analyst role. If he, in fact, does that, he's going to crush it without any question. And in fact, Devin recently joined his brother Jason as a guest co-host for NFL Media's Good Morning Football. A lot of great stuff. There are highlights available on YouTube, folks. I definitely encourage you to check those out if you want to see what Devin McCourty may look like as an analyst. But no matter what direction he's going to go in, that next chapter is going to carry him with success. Devin always does everything with skill, with poise, with class, and a style all his own. And for all the years that he's been here in New England, that's exactly how he's carried himself. And such a charitable individual as well, doing amazing things, being on the board at Boston Medical and being a part of trying to help that organization not only help children, but also help people that are stricken with communicable diseases. Really, Devin has just done so much in this area. We remember his contributions during the Boston Marathon tragedy, in which he pledged some of his salary to go ahead and to be there for the victims and their funds. He's just done a tremendous, tremendous job here in New England. And I, for one, am going to miss covering him without any questions. And I'll share my thoughts on Devin, my personal thoughts on Devin here in just a moment. But speaking of that style, we're about to take a look at some of that style and the impact it had on some of the most prominent members of the Patriots organization. More on our tribute to DMAC when this episode of the Locked On Patriots podcast continues. But first, folks, today's episode is brought to you by Ultimate Football GM. You've heard me talk about this mobile game app, and if you ever thought you'd make a good GM, you've got to give this game a try. You know, it's not as easy as you might think it is to create a dynasty. The Patriots made it look easy for 2+ decades, folks, so much so that every team now that happens to win a couple of games wants to try to declare themselves a dynasty. Well, when you've had the run that the Patriots have had for 2 decades, then you can climb onto the lawn. Until then, got to take a little bit of a back seat. But when you play Ultimate Football GM, you get to control and manage every strategic aspect of your team as you play through seasons and lead your team to glory, trying to build a historic dynasty. With Ultimate Football GM, you're responsible for controlling the destiny of your franchise by hiring the right coaches and coordinators. Manage all the finances, including negotiating player salaries and terms. Navigate your franchise through free agency, the draft, injuries, player personnel issues, and all the ups and downs of a season. With the league year about to start, folks, what better way to live vicariously through your favorite team than to see if you can do a better job than your heroes? Ultimate Football GM lets you do that in a challenging and realistic game world, and they're completely free and playable offline. You can play on the go as you want, when you want to. And Locked On Patriots listeners get a free 100% boost to their franchise when using the promo code Locked On. That's all in caps. So make sure to pay attention to the promo code Locked On, all caps, in the game store. That's Locked On, LOCKEDON, in all caps. So make sure to check it out today. To download the game, just visit ultimate-gm.com or look it up on the app stores. That's ultimate-gm.com. Ultimate Football GM. Start your dynasty today. Patriots fans, thank you once again for taking time out of your busy schedule to join me here on Locked On Patriots. We're getting you ready for a big week in the NFL. Coverage galore of the Patriots beginning of the 2023 NFL year. A lot of free agency news coming up, folks, so make sure to stay locked into Locked On Patriots. But here to kick it off before all the madness begins, we wanted to take a moment to honor the great Devin McCourty, who called it a career on Friday. 13 illustrious seasons in the NFL, and it's really hard to say that this comes as a shock. It did come as a bittersweet moment, definitely for me, for all Patriots fans, I think, throughout the weekend. But we started to see the seedlings of this really all season long, and really the first time I gave true credence to the fact that I might be watching the final days of Devin McCourty as an active player in the NFL is as he walked off the Gillette Stadium field to the locker room following the Patriots' Week 17 victory over the Miami Dolphins. New Year's Day, last Patriots home game of the season, and you saw the team captain walking around the field, taking a bit more time to savor that moment. And at this point, he's deeply entrenched in the twilight of his career, and he realized at that moment that he may be leaving his home field for the final time in a Patriots uniform. And when we asked Devin about it after the game, he said, quote, "I took a moment, spent some time with my family on the field. It's been a great run to come out here. If this was the last one, I think to be able to leave Gillette with a win, very similar to how my first ever game was a win, I've had a lot of fun," end quote. Sounded like a guy that knew that the end could be coming. And I don't think Devin knew for sure at that point. I truly believe he really deliberated on this until the last possible moment. But ultimately, he fulfilled his own prophecy on Friday by saying that this was indeed time for him to hang up his cleats. And now he begins the next chapter of that journey he talked about when he mentioned that he was going to retire. And it really gave us, I think, all an opportunity to reflect on the accomplishments and the indelible mark he leaves on the franchise. Well, it doesn't just leave a mark with his teammates or with the fans. That's definitely there. Those connections will always be there. But when you have the type of impact Devin McCourty had on the owner and the chairman of the franchise, you know you've done something right in touching a nerve in Patriots Nation. And Robert Kraft's statement to reflect that really does reflect just an incredible amount of admiration, love, and respect for Devin McCourty. And I'm going to read to you Robert's statement in its entirety because it really, really was beautiful and such a fitting tribute for a great guy and one of the great guys I've ever had the opportunity to cover here in New England. Robert Kraft's statement reads as follows, quote, "As a Patriots fan, it's always bittersweet to see such an iconic player announce his retirement. But I couldn't be happier for Devin, Michelle, and the McCourty family, or more thankful to his mother, Phyllis. Through his individual performance and overall leadership, Devin has been such an important part of the success we have enjoyed over the past 13 seasons, including each of our last 3 Super Bowl championships. As great as his contributions were on the field, he made an even greater impact in the community, taking a leadership role in his advocacy for finding a cure for sickle cell anemia, effectively legislative change for criminal justice reform, and championing countless other educational and economic advancements and initiatives. We couldn't have asked for a better leader and ambassador, both on and off the field." And again, Mr. Kraft's statement just incredible and really does clue you in that Devin McCourty was so much deeper than just being a great NFL safety. And I say great without hesitation, folks. He definitely belongs in that category. I know we're looking at things through rose-colored glasses right now, and we'll do a much deeper dive as to whether or not Devin is worthy of Hall of Fame consideration. When I say Hall of Fame, I mean Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton. His red jacket is already printed. He's ready to go. He is definitely going into the Pats Hall of Fame at Gillette. But I think a case can be made for the possibility that he might be a Pro Football Hall of Fame worthy player. Will he get in? Does he absolutely deserve it? I think that's up for debate right now, but I think he at least deserves consideration, and that's a conversation for another day. But Devin really did do so much away from the field as well that helped to cultivate his amazing reputation, and Robert Kraft absolutely nails it right here with his statement. And there's no question about it. I mean, he really, really was a unique person. Every single person that's played alongside him or that's played against him or that's coached him has had nothing but great things to say about Devin McCourty. That's not a coincidence, folks. That's definitely by design. That's just who he is. And unsurprisingly, the man who drafted Devin, number 27 overall, more than a decade ago, had the utmost praise for his longtime team captain. And Bill Belichick's statement was also glowing in his praise and very effusive for Devin, rightfully so. Quoting Bill Belichick now, folks, quote, "It is a rare group of players who win games at a historic rate, exude team culture, lead, win awards, and win championships." And there is Devin McCourty. Devin did all of these things as a player and more. But what I think first when I think of Devin is the type of man he is, his character, his values, and how high he raised the bar for spreading goodness and justice in the community. For 13 years, Devin made everyone in our organization feel better and be better because of who he is, a pillar of professionalism, unselfishness, work ethic, preparation, intelligence, and performance. I am excited to see him bring those same traits to his next chapter and brighten the lives of even more people. Folks, really, you can't say it much better than that. Bill Belichick, once again, very effusive in his praise for Devin McCourty, but also very accurate in his assessment of Devin McCourty, the man. I've had the opportunity to get to know a little bit covering him here in New England these last couple of years, and someone who I started out as a fan of. And I am very proud to say that he is the same type of person you expect him to be as a fan in real life. He truly is. And Devin absolutely is someone that I believe has his red jacket already awaiting him. He's definitely ready. He's earned that praise and appreciation and admiration from each and every member of Patriots Nation. And folks, there's just no question about it. He really has an amazing connection to this area, and I believe he always will. He'll be missed on the field. He's had so much success on this Gillette Stadium field. It's hard to imagine a future without Devin McCourty here in New England. But that proverbial ride into the sunset that he's about to take now is the gateway to his life's next chapter, and one which I have no doubt he'll approach with dignity, with respect, and with class. For 13 years, Devin McCourty was a leader who led by example, as well as anyone who's ever worn a Patriots uniform. On a personal level, it is bittersweet for me to report on the retirement of Devin McCourty. My first media scrum in 2017 was my first day covering the Pats, was with Devin. And he always took the time to thoroughly and candidly answer as many questions as possible, including the new guy on that day. And it definitely helped ingratiate me into a beat that is very tough to crack. There are a lot of excellent reporters in this area, past, present, and future, that have covered this team, this New England Patriots organization. And for me to even be a small part of that is truly an honor. And through the years, I am honored to say that I got the chance to get to know Devin a little bit better. And since his arrival in 2010, again, he's personified hard work, class, excellence on and off the field. I personally thank him for all of his contributions here in New England, but most of all, for giving his very best on every snap, every practice, and every game on each and every day. That's the example he set, and that's the example he'll continue to embody as the New England Patriots now move into their next chapter. So, Devin, congratulations on an amazing career. I wish you nothing but the best in your future. And now it is truly your time to enjoy. Patriots fans, unfortunately, time moves on here in New England, and the post-Devin McCourty era is about to begin. The New England Patriots have some moves to make if they want to continue to be prolific in that defensive backfield. How can they do so? We're going to go over where the Patriots go from here at safety when this episode of the Locked On Patriots podcast continues. But first, folks, today's episode brought to you by FanDuel. The midway point of the NBA season is here, folks, and now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, because new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's bonus bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. It's safe, it's secure, and it's super easy to use. And then you can bet on everything from the money line to the point scorers and the three-pointers drained. Plus, FanDuel even lets you combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with a same-game parlay. So don't miss the chance to get your no-sweat first bet up to $1,000 in bonus bets when you go to FanDuel.com/LockedOn. That's FanDuel.com/LockedOn to learn more. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NBA. Patriots fans, thanks once again for making Locked On Patriots your first listen here every day, kicking off a big week in the NFL here on style. And of course, folks, we're talking about Devin McCourty's retirement, ending the week on a bittersweet note without any question. And I thank you for allowing me to personally share my feelings on Devin in the previous segment, and also just a little bit about his retirement and how he arrived at his decision. But now that Devin's made his, your New England Patriots have some decisions to make as well. With Devin McCourty now retired, the natural question is, where do the Patriots go from here? Well, they do have some options to fill some big shoes at free safety. And let's start right away. We start with the internal options. And of course, Kyle Duggar, Adrian Phillips, probably the two biggest names in the defensive backfield right now for the Patriots with the letter S next to it. These guys align mostly in the box. They're much more comfortable there. I don't see Kyle moving, although he has a little bit more athleticism than Adrian in this case. If he had to, Kyle would be the one I think they would force, but I really don't see either one of these guys going to the free position. Jabril Peppers, he's a strong safety. I don't think he would move out of his comfort zone. I think Devin's retirement makes it more likely that he resigns in New England, but I don't think it's going to be to switch positions. So if you're going to stay internal, you might want to think about retaining the services of a guy that you have on staff right now, someone who is coming up as an unrestricted free agent, potentially, and that's Jonathan Jones. Folks, don't forget, Jonathan Jones started his career in the slot before moving to a starting position as a perimeter corner in 2022, but there's no guarantee he's going to be back here in free agency. Although on Sunday morning, Mike Reese of ESPN, one of the best in the business, reported that the two sides are hopeful that they're working out a deal reportedly in the range of between $8 and $9 million annually. If they can do that, folks, both sides are going to be very happy. I would jump at the chance to do it. And moving Jonathan to a free safety might actually be a smart thing to do. He's got speed, experience to play there, plus the fact that he was used as a safety in his previous incarnation makes him an intriguing option. So keep an eye out there for Jonathan Jones. If they re-sign him, he could be an option. But if the Patriots want to go outside the organization, there are some pretty prolific players that could end up wearing Patriots blue. And we start with probably the gem on the free agent market, Jesse Bates of the Cincinnati Bengals, former second-round draft pick by the Bengals, and he's the top safety available in this year's free agency class. There's no question about it. A lot of things that the Patriots love in their safeties, Jesse Bates has them, and he has them naturally. Very high football IQ, positional versatility, big-time playmaking skills, a lot of leadership in that defensive backfield, and durability. This kid stays on the field. Problem is he's not going to come cheap. The New England Patriots would definitely have to pony up for his services. Reportedly, the Atlanta Falcons are very interested. I'm hearing from certain circles in some of the sources that I have with Sports Illustrated that there's a lot of mutual interest between Atlanta and Jesse Bates. But don't count the Patriots out. They could swoop in. They could take a look at this. A lot of people didn't believe a few years ago that the Pats had any chance of signing Stephon Gilmore away from the Bills. They came in and did it. This could be a similar type situation where the Patriots don't play their hand right away, but get in there and get the opportunity to get some capital back. So Jesse Bates is someone that would be high quality, really would solidify this position for the next few years. But again, this is going to come at an expense. I've seen people talk about Duron Harmon. That name has gone around a lot on Twitter. And look, there's a lot of reasons for it. Duron was a player here for a number of years, did a great job. 32, not really on the same level as some of these other free agents, definitely not on the level of a Jesse Bates right now, but he can definitely play a McCourty-esque role, especially because of his leadership, especially because of his experience here. Seamless transition. He knows the system very well. And really, I think would be a temporary fix, but this could be something where the Patriots take a flyer on a veteran and get Duron back in here to add a little stability to the backfield. I could see this happening, but if they do bring in Duron Harmon, I don't think it will be the only move that the Patriots make at that position. So keep an eye on Duron Harmon, maybe not a day one free agency signing, but maybe down the line, maybe toward the end of this week, you might see the Patriots chatter kind of go through that process a little bit. Another question I get asked all the time is Jordan Poyer. I know a lot of people would love to pry him away from Buffalo. And look, he fits the mold perfectly. He definitely has all the qualities that the Patriots love in a safety. He's a guy, he's a difference maker. He's a veteran leader, still has an awful lot left in the tank. I've had the opportunity to watch him a little bit closer, having done some work in covering the Bills for Sports Illustrated. And he, truly is one of the guys that I think is ready to make a good amount of money on the open market. almost a foregone conclusion that he's going to be leaving Buffalo. The question is, where is he going? I know a lot of people have made comments about him wanting to go to a place where there's no state income tax. Tough luck. That's not New England, but who knows? Maybe there might be a situation where he might end up coming here. But bottom line, Poyer still has a lot left to give. Led the Bills in interceptions with 4, ranked 5th in total tackles on the team with 63. And that would be a big loss for the Bills, but it could be a big gain for the New England Patriots. So keep your eye on Jordan Poyer. I'm thinking this one's a long shot, but boy, would that be a shot across the bow into Western New York if the Patriots could pull that off. Again, folks, I wouldn't get your hopes up too high, but it is out there, and I can't say that the door is completely closed on that. So those are some of the external options that the Patriots may have to sift through, but there are draft options as well. And that does lead the draft as a possibility for the Patriots to fill this position. Alabama's Brian Branch is the crown jewel of the safeties in this 2023 draft class, and rightfully so. He checks all the boxes. My thought process is, and again, this is my opinion now, not covering or not analyzing, but I believe that the Patriots just have too many needs in too many places. Offensive tackle, wide receiver. I don't think they use first round draft capital to bring in the safety of the future. I just don't think they do it at this time. And if they're going to stop short of using that first rounder to pry a safety out of this draft class, they're not going to get Brian Branch. He's definitely going in the first round. So there are a couple of players that I think the Patriots could snag on day 2. And again, a couple of guys that have caught my sharp eye here on Locked On Patriots, one of which I've talked a little bit about before. The other, haven't really talked about him so much. The first guy that I'm watching for the Patriots is Illinois defensive back Sidney Brown. And Sidney is not exactly the prototypical big-time defender that you want to bring into your system. He's generously listed at 6 feet on some people's draft charts. I've seen as low as 5'10". I think Birch is probably in the middle, maybe a little bit there. Doesn't have enough of the flash that his peers have, but he's not short on talent, folks. This kid can play with the best of them. I think he has the potential to be a 3-down player at the pro level. During his time at Illinois, he showed above average quickness when getting into position. That's something that Devin did very well here in New England. He keeps pace with his opposition, so you're not going to get a whole lot by him. And again, football IQ, very, very high from those I speak to that have covered him or watched him with the Fighting Illini. I know that he's got the instincts to help ensure that he's one of the smartest players on the field at all times. Because of that, he's always in and around the football. He knows that whether he's going to align in the slot or as a split fielder, he's going to find statistical success no matter where he is. 43 tackles last year, 7 passes defended, 6 interceptions, 1 defensive touchdown. Sidney Brown, folks, is definitely someone that I could see the Patriots taking a flyer on maybe in day 2 and maybe getting a great return on investment. His scouting combine tested very well. That means this kid is probably on the rise. A 4.48 40 time. That ranked 4th amongst all safeties. Also ranked in the top 3 for the broad jump, a 9.74 on that, and the vertical jump, a 9.75. So tested very well, very highly. That's going to be someone to watch. So I like Sidney Brown. I think he's got a chance. The guy that I really like is Georgia's Christopher Smith. And I've talked about him a couple of times here on the pod, but now that Devin is in fact retiring, it allows me to entertain this idea a little bit more. And if you're looking for a solid jack of all trades, this kid did it. He did it for the national champions at Georgia. I think he can do it for any NFL team he comes to. He can align at the free, but he's also capable of aligning in the box. He can even align in the nickel. Seen him do all 3 for the Georgia Bulldogs. And he even blocked a field goal and took it back for a touchdown in the SEC championship against LSU. So this kid is a very multifaceted weapon that the Patriots could use very well. We've talked a lot about high football IQ. I think every player that I've mentioned, whether it be internal free agents like Jonathan Jones or guys that could come in here like a Jesse Bates or a Duron Harmon or even someone like a Jordan Poyer, even Sidney Brown, very, very high football IQ. Christopher Smith I'd put up there with anyone, really, even at an NFL level. I think it would work very well with guys like Kyle Duggar, Adrian Phillips as a member of the Patriots. From people that I've talked to close to the Georgia program, they love the way that he's able to assimilate into different coverage techniques. In fact, one of the sources that I spoke to very closely said his aptitude to understand coverage techniques as well as communicating with his teammates, it really is his greatest asset. And honestly, it's what's drawing comparisons to Devin McCourty, not just here in New England, but nationally. This is a kid that is projecting to be a McCourty-like free safety. So above all else, he is a great communicator. That's what Devin McCourty did best. His ability to lead his teammates, coordinate the action on the field, that's Devin's strongest skill set. That's Christopher Smith's strongest skill set. And I'm not saying Christopher Smith is going to be Devin McCourty. He's drawing comparisons. Folks, for years, we've seen players draw comparisons and not live up to the hype. But at the bottom line, at the end of the day, you need guys that project in that mold. And Christopher Smith has the football IQ and the poise to come in and try to live up to those expectations from day one. Very big shoes to fill, but if there is someone out there that can do it, I think he can do it. So at this point, I'm saying that I believe he is the guy that could be a difference maker for the Patriots at free safety from day one. But I want to hear what you have to say. Where do the Patriots go from here, folks? Who do you want to see manning that free safety position in 2023? Would love to hear your thoughts. And again, folks, I can't stress it enough. It is going to be a big week in the NFL, and we are just scratching the surface of the coverage that you will get here on Locked On Patriots this week, from all the biggest free agent signings to what it means for the upcoming 2023 NFL Draft. Please make Locked On Patriots your first listen for all of your Patriots needs this week and beyond. And now that you've made us your first listen, please make your second listen the Locked On NFL Draft Podcast. Damian Parson and Keith Sanchez providing in-depth coverage of the biggest NFL draft prospects, deep dives into the sleepers and hidden gems that can change your favorite NFL franchise. So find Locked On NFL Draft wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Folks, once again, thank you for making Locked On Patriots a daily part of your New England Patriots coverage. On behalf of the Locked On Podcast Network, I am your host, Mike Debate. Please continue to stay safe, stay well, be the change you wish to see in the world. Have a great day, everyone, and we'll see you again here the next time on Locked On Patriots.